Hey everyone, me Kevin here with a late stimulus check update for August 27th. We're also about to hit 800,000 subscribers, so if you have not yet, consider subscribing to the channel, and you can watch my beard turn into Santa Claus while we let it grow until stimulus checks come. Also, the coupon code for the courses does end August 31st, so check those out in the links down below. Let's get started. The call between House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows lasted a grueling 25 minutes. Yes, that's right. The resumed negotiations our government wanted us to hold out hope for lasted 25 minutes. The last time something that was really important to my family only lasted 25 minutes, my wife made me sleep in another bedroom. Anyway, Hurricane Laura is expected to cause 6,000 to 60,000 cases of COVID due to evacuations. How's that for precise science? And 25 billion in damage to oil refineries and platforms in the Gulf of Mexico. However, there is some good news. Nancy Pelosi has previously stood firm at her unyielding $3.4 trillion HEROES Act. Well, she stated that she's come down $1 trillion to $2.4 trillion. We've heard that before. But reports are now in that Nancy Pelosi has offered to Mark Meadows a smaller package. Instead of $2.4 trillion, she's willing to take $2.2 trillion. This marks an about 8.5% reduction in package size. Apparently, though, Nancy's package was still too big for Mark Meadows to handle. Even after 8.5% in shrinkage, Nancy Pelosi's package is just too big. Therefore, we ended, well, without much progress today. We're still stuck about $1.2 trillion apart. Which, if you're wondering how much progress we've made in the last 4 months now, or is it 3 or 4 vacations of Congress? I can't remember. Basically, nothing. Our government is enjoying their vacations while our heroes are being forgotten and the people are being screwed. That is, unless, of course, you own Tesla stock, because that's up 62% in just the last 14 days. That's right, because this is, after all, the country where rich people keep getting richer. It's honestly ridiculous and unfair. Nancy Pelosi said when Republicans are ready to negotiate, she'd be ready as well. However, she characterized her call with Mark Meadows by saying, quote, "I did not get that impression on the call," referring to Republicans not being interested on budging on their side. This is honestly more painful than the thought of Microsoft and Walmart joining forces to take over TikTok. The last thing I want is to have to download Windows Service Pack 2 onto my TikTok app with a yellow smiley staring me down before turning my phone into a blue screen of death. But that's just a blue screen of death. Congress apparently doesn't care about real death, which is why it's so important that you make sure you have life insurance in the middle of a pandemic. You can get it in as little as 5 minutes via the link down below. And while you're there, you may as well get 2 completely free stocks with Webull. If you deposit $100, they give you 2 free stocks. That promotion does end in 3 days. Anyway, Democrats appear to believe they can pressure Republicans into a deal of, quote, substantial size and something closer to $2 trillion soon. The problem is we're just not quite sure who's running the Republican Party right now in terms of stimulus negotiations. Is it, what's his name, Mark Meadows, as Nancy Pelosi says? Or is it Steve Mnuchin, the boss? Or is he too busy at the post office? Or is it Mitch McConnell? Or is he too busy killing bills? I don't know, and I think none of us really know the answer to that. After all, Republicans started their negotiations about 35 days ago at $1 trillion, briefly said, that they would consider going up to $2 trillion, realized they didn't have enough support in the Senate, reduced their figure to $1 trillion by introducing the HEROES Act, and now they're coming out with a skinny skeleton bill of $500 billion, even smaller than the HEROES Act, which we're expecting this skeleton skinny bill to come out either tomorrow or next week. Nancy Pelosi to this has released statements stating that Republicans do not understand the needs of the American people. She stated that this is not about dollars, this is about values. And these are investments that will not only help crush the virus, but bolster the economy. Nancy Pelosi, if you can convince Republicans that spending $2.2 trillion is an investment, you might be able to get your $2.2 trillion, because I think that is exactly what Republicans love, investments. So that might be an angle to play up, Nancy. I'm sure you're watching this video. Nancy Pelosi also reminded us that 14 million children are hungry, teachers, healthcare workers, and working families are being abandoned, and Republicans aren't being serious. The problem is, there's only so much finger pointing you can do, Nancy, until people start making you take a share of the blame. Mark Meadows tweeted, quote, "If you really want to help Americans, how about passing relief for small businesses and unemployment assistance along with Postal Service funding?" But since they each appear to be posting messages out into the space without actually talking to each other, we don't really have direct responses to either of those. It's just more talking to the media. In other news, following the police shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin, the NBA has postponed all games. It turns out the NBA's bubble is only effective against the coronavirus and not racism. Racism, by the way, is a topic I have talked a lot about on this channel. If you want to see my latest views on racism and poverty, type into YouTube Coke with Kevin. Yes, that's Coke, C-O-K-E, with Kevin, episode 3. The Federal Reserve made history today. It adopted a shift in its approach to interest rate policy that puts more emphasis on boosting employment and keeping interest rates lower while allowing inflation to rise above the Fed's 2% target. In other words, the Fed needs to do everything it can to create more jobs, even if that means letting inflation rise faster than Hurricane Laura flipping over a Louisiana trailer home. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell also said, quote, "A robust job market can be sustained without causing an outbreak of inflation." And this is really good, because the last thing we need is another outbreak. Hey, Jerome, ever think about using different word choice? Outbreak during a 100-year pandemic? Sometimes I just wonder if the leaders in our country are 110% tone deaf. Anyway, there you have it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Get your life insurance, your 2 free stocks, and use that coupon code for those courses linked down below. Some of those do expire at the end of this month, and we're almost at the end of the month. Also consider subscribing. About to hit 800K. Thank you all so very much, and folks, we'll see you in the next one.